They fired me for being too old. By 3 p.m., their systems crashed. The first red flag wasn't the smug email. It was watching them move my desk from the climate-controlled server room to some basement corner next to the intern's TikTok setup. My name is Walter Summers. I'm 58, and I just watched 15 years of my corporate life get flushed down the toilet in 23 minutes. But let me back up and tell you how a Navy veteran with 2 decades of IT experience became enemy number 1 faster than you can say digital transformation. After 15 years at Apex Manufacturing Solutions, they relocated me like I was office furniture. No discussion, just a Slack message saying they were excited for my vintage perspective from the new workspace. Vintage perspective. Like I was some antique dealer instead of the guy who kept their entire digital infrastructure from collapsing since 2009. I didn't complain, didn't slam drawers or call anyone names, just packed up my Navy coffee mug, my backup drives, and my small cactus named Spike, and moved downstairs, same way I'd been handling things since my Navy days. Quietly, efficiently, no drama. See, I'm not the type who needs constant praise or corner offices. I need stability, routine, and a decent chair that doesn't squeak when I'm troubleshooting crashed servers at 2 a.m. What I got instead was Cameron Brooks, our new VP of Digital Innovation, fresh out of Stanford with an MBA and a podcast about disruption. This kid was 29 years old, called our legacy IBM mainframes technological dinosaurs, and thought our custom security protocols were cute. He wore $300 sneakers to board meetings and brought kombucha to staff meetings like he was running a wellness retreat instead of manufacturing operations. The guy had never served a day in uniform, never worked a night shift to keep critical systems running, never had to explain to 650 employees why their paychecks might be late because some vendor changed their API without warning. But he had buzzwords, lots of them. Still, I gave him a fair shot, even when he started making comments in team meetings like, "We need fresh energy around here. People who grew up with smartphones, not pagers." Then he'd look right at me and add, "Walt's got great institutional knowledge. Maybe he can help onboard someone with more digital native instincts." Digital native instincts. That was rich coming from someone who probably learned about computers in college while I was building secure networks for Navy operations in the Persian Gulf during Desert Storm. I'd been writing code since before this kid discovered Wi-Fi, but apparently my intuition was outdated. I didn't roll my eyes. Didn't correct him when he mispronounced SQL or suggested we migrate our classified defense contracts to the public cloud. Just logged the incidents, backed up the system configurations, and kept doing what I'd done for 15 years, making sure Apex Manufacturing stayed online while everyone else worried about their LinkedIn profiles. You want to know what 15 years looks like in my world? It's maintaining 98.8% uptime while everyone else sleeps. It's getting called at midnight because the automated backup failed, driving back to the office in my pajamas, and having systems running before anyone's morning coffee gets cold. It's the payroll system that processes 650 employee paychecks every 2 weeks without a glitch because I rebuilt the integration in 2019 when a vendor update broke everything. It's the EDI connections to major defense clients like Boeing and Lockheed Martin that only work because I personally know the system administrators at each location and troubleshoot issues before they escalate to contract violations. It's saving the company $150,000 annually through system optimizations that nobody sees, nobody celebrates, and apparently nobody remembers when budget review time comes around. I'm not bragging here, just stating facts. When the compliance audit system crashed on a Sunday at 11 p.m. before a Monday regulatory deadline, I was the one who drove back to the office and rebuilt the entire reporting pipeline. When our main ERP vendor changed their authentication protocols without warning and our inventory tracking went haywire, I wrote custom middleware in one weekend to keep production flowing. No bonuses, no promotions, just a thanks for keeping the lights on email and maybe a $75 gift card to Olive Garden during the holidays. But I didn't do it for applause. I did it because someone had to care, and if I didn't, nobody would. That's how it works with guys like me, the invisible infrastructure, the ones who stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds in glass conference rooms. My personal situation wasn't exactly stable either. Linda and I had just finalized our divorce after 26 years of marriage. Nothing dramatic, just 2 people who grew apart while I was working nights and weekends keeping Apex running. The settlement meant I was paying $2,800 a month in support while she figured out her next chapter. On top of that, my parents, Frank and Helen, both 82, needed full-time care at Sunset Manor. Dad had Alzheimer's, Mom had mobility issues from a stroke 2 years back. The monthly cost was $4,200. That wasn't exactly in my post-divorce budget, but what choice did I have? They'd sacrificed everything to raise me right, teach me values, send me through community college before I enlisted. My daughter Rose was in her second year of pharmacy school at Ohio State University, and those tuition payments weren't getting any smaller. $28,000 a year plus living expenses. My son Danny, 22, was finishing his computer science degree at the same school and offered to drop out to help financially. I told him absolutely not. The whole point of working my ass off was so my kids wouldn't have to struggle like Linda and I did starting out. The cherry on top of this financial sundae was my mild heart attack 6 weeks earlier. Nothing major, the doctor said, but enough to put me on blood pressure medication and strict orders to reduce stress. The irony wasn't lost on me, considering what was about to happen. Dr. Martinez had been direct about it during my follow-up appointment. "Walter, you're carrying too much weight on your shoulders. The divorce stress, family finances, work pressure, your heart's telling you to slow down." Easy for him to say. He wasn't supporting 2 college kids and elderly parents on a single income, while some Stanford MBA questioned his every decision. But I'd started making changes, cut back on the late-night emergency calls where possible, delegated more to Angela Rivera, our 26-year-old junior systems analyst who'd been shadowing me for 8 months. Angela was sharp as they come and actually wanted to learn, unlike most of the younger staff who treated legacy systems like radioactive waste. She reminded me of myself 30 years ago, curious about how things really worked, willing to dig into documentation, asking the right questions instead of just Googling quick fixes. If I was going to train someone to understand our hybrid infrastructure, Angela was the obvious choice. Cameron, however, had different ideas about our human capital allocation, as he liked to call it. The morning of March 15th started like any other Tuesday. I got to the office at 7:15 a.m., same as always, grabbed coffee from the break room, and settled into my basement corner to review overnight logs. Everything looked normal. Servers humming along, databases syncing properly, no critical alerts. Just another quiet morning in the life of keeping 15 years of accumulated technical debt functioning smoothly. Around 10 a.m., I noticed Cameron walking through the office with Susan Mitchell from HR, both carrying tablets, speaking in those hushed conspiratorial tones that make every experienced employee's stomach drop. They'd stop at various workstations, point at computer screens, nod knowingly while scribbling notes. Cameron was wearing what I'd come to recognize as his disruption consultant face, the expression he probably practiced in mirrors before important meetings. At 10:30, they stood outside my cubicle for about 3 minutes, just watching me work. I could feel them there, analyzing, evaluating, making their little check marks and assessments. I kept my eyes on my screen and continued updating firewall configurations for our Department of Defense contracts. Let them watch. I had nothing to hide and plenty of work to do. When I finally looked up, they'd moved on to hover around Angela's workstation. She caught my eye over their heads and gave me a subtle questioning look. I shrugged slightly, the universal gesture for no idea what's going on, but probably nothing good. Angela had been my unofficial apprentice since last summer when she'd approached me directly, instead of going through the normal IT request channels. "Mr. Summers," she'd said, "I know you're busy, but I'd really like to understand how our legacy systems actually work. Not just the surface-level stuff they teach in certification courses, but the real architecture." Most of the other senior guys would have brushed her off or given her some manual to read. I invited her to sit in on my next server maintenance window. She showed up with a notebook, took detailed notes, asked intelligent questions about why we'd designed certain integrations the way we had. Over the following months, she became the only person in the company besides me who understood how our ERP system talked to the manufacturing floor controllers, or why our payroll integration required manual intervention every other Friday. If something happened to me, Angela would be the only one with even basic understanding of how to keep things running. I'd made sure of that, partially for succession planning, but mostly because I recognized someone who actually gave a damn about doing things right. Cameron, meanwhile, had been escalating his not-so-subtle age discrimination campaign. In the past month alone, he'd made comments about bringing in fresh perspectives, needing people who can pivot quickly in today's fast-paced environment, and my personal favorite, leveraging digital natives who intuitively understand disruptive technologies. During last Tuesday's team meeting, he'd actually said, "We need to modernize our approach to infrastructure management. Maybe bring in someone who doesn't need training on cloud-first architectures." He'd looked directly at me while saying it, like I was some Neanderthal who'd never heard of AWS. What Cameron didn't know, because he'd never bothered to actually read my personnel file or have a real conversation with me, was that I'd been managing cloud migrations since before he knew what a VPC was. I'd personally architected our hybrid deployment that kept sensitive defense contract data on premises while moving non-classified workloads to the cloud, saving Apex $89,000 annually in infrastructure costs. But facts didn't matter in Cameron's narrative. I was 58, therefore I was technologically obsolescent. Simple as that. The breaking point came during a department meeting the week before. Cameron had brought in some consultant to assess our digital transformation readiness. This 25-year-old kid with a man bun and artisanal coffee spent 20 minutes explaining concepts I'd been implementing for years, using terminology that sounded impressive but meant nothing. When the consultant suggested we sunset legacy mainframe dependencies, I'd spoken up. Those legacy systems process $47 million in transactions monthly with zero downtime. Before we sunset anything, we should understand the business impact and have tested alternatives in place. Cameron's face had tightened. "Walt, I appreciate your caution, but sometimes you need to embrace innovative solutions instead of clinging to outdated approaches." That was the moment I knew my time at Apex was numbered. You don't publicly question the judgment of insecure executives without consequences. In Cameron's world, asking for proper planning and risk assessment was clinging to outdated approaches. The calendar invite appeared on my screen at exactly 2:47 p.m., quick strategy chat scheduled for 3:10 p.m. No agenda, no background, no meeting description. Just a smiley face emoji and the words, "Looking forward to connecting." Like we were old college buddies planning a weekend barbecue instead of whatever corporate execution he'd planned. I don't do ambush meetings. Never have, never will. In the Navy, we had a saying, "Proper planning prevents poor performance." You want my time, you schedule it 3 days ahead with bullet points and clear objectives, not this sunshine and rainbows nonsense designed to catch people off guard. But I showed up anyway because that's what professionals do. That's what guys like me do. Conference room C smelled like burnt coffee and bad decisions, same as always. The air conditioning hummed with that industrial white noise that makes you feel trapped in fluorescent-lit purgatory. Cameron was already there, leaning back in his ergonomic chair like he owned the place, which technically he did now. His laptop was open, displaying what looked like an organizational chart covered in red X marks. Susan Mitchell from HR sat in the corner, clutching a manila folder like it contained nuclear launch codes. She was blinking too fast and had that deer-in-headlights expression HR people get when they're about to ruin someone's life but want to pretend it's a positive career development opportunity. "Walt," Cameron said, stretching out my name like we were buddies. "Thanks for making time. I know you're busy keeping our systems running smoothly." The word "our" hit differently now, like he was already planning my replacement. "First off," he continued, shifting into his corporate speak mode, "I want to thank you for everything you've done here, truly. 15 years of dedication. That's incredible in today's fast-paced environment." I nodded, waited. When someone starts with gratitude that sounds like a eulogy, the hammer's about to drop. I'd seen this movie before, just never from the victim's perspective. We've been analyzing our technical debt, evaluating our human capital allocation, optimizing for maximum digital transformation velocity. More buzzwords. I could have made a drinking game out of this conversation and been unconscious by slide 3. The reality is, we're heading into a new phase. Cloud-first architecture, AI integration, DevOps culture transformation. We need team members who can really lean into next-generation thinking. Next-generation thinking. Because apparently 15 years of keeping their lights on and their defense contracts flowing was old-generation thinking. So we've made the decision to bring in someone with fresh energy, he said, not quite making eye contact. Someone who can bridge the gap between our legacy infrastructure and our digital future. Someone more aligned with our innovation roadmap. Translation. Someone younger, cheaper, and more willing to nod along with his half-baked modernization schemes. Susan jumped in, her voice shaking slightly. "We have a transition package that's very generous, Walt. Full severance, extended COBRA coverage, outplacement services, and of course, we'll provide excellent references for your next opportunity. She was reading from a script, probably the same script they used for every middle-aged employee they'd decided had outlived their usefulness, the corporate equivalent of putting down an old dog. I held up my hand. Not rude, just definitive. The way you stop traffic or halt a conversation that's headed somewhere you don't want to go. "Let me save us all some time," I said, my voice calmer than I felt. "You've made your decision, and now I've made mine. You want someone younger, more digitally intuitive, more aligned with your vision. I understand. Thank you for the opportunity." The room went dead quiet. You could hear the HVAC system cycling and someone's phone buzzing in the distance. Susan looked confused, like she'd prepared for an argument and I'd just handed her a surrender document. Cameron's confident smile faltered for the first time since I'd known him. "Well, that's very professional of you, Walt," he said. "We really do appreciate your understanding. Of course, there are some transition details we should discuss." "I'll clean out my desk and be gone within the hour," I interrupted. "Angela Rivera knows the critical procedures. She can handle the transition." I grabbed my notebook and water bottle, shook both their hands like we'd just concluded a successful business meeting, and walked out of conference room C like I was heading to lunch. No tears, no raised voice, no dramatic declarations about loyalty or years of service. Just that sharp, clean silence that happens when someone who's been holding everything together suddenly isn't going to anymore. Back at my desk, I sat down and looked at my workstation one last time. 3 monitors displaying real-time system health, server performance graphs, network traffic analytics. All green lights, all systems running smoothly. For now. I opened my drawer and pulled out my personal USB drive labeled Infrastructure Configs, Critical Systems. I'd been maintaining it for years as my own insurance policy, updating it every time I made significant changes to our setup. Not because I was planning anything vindictive, but because I knew that someday someone might need this information when I wasn't around. Today was that day. Here's the thing about the systems I'd built over 15 years. They were elegant, efficient, and completely dependent on about 52 different manual processes that only I knew how to handle. Not because I was hoarding information or trying to make myself indispensable, but because every time I'd suggested documentation training or cross-training initiatives, management had said the same thing. "Maybe next quarter, Walt. We don't have the bandwidth right now." So I'd made sure the systems would run exactly as long as my access credentials remained active, and not 1 second longer. I didn't delete anything, didn't sabotage anything, just cleaned up, removed my personal configurations, deleted my local scripts, cleared browser cache, and saved passwords. Standard procedure for any employee departure. The fact that those personal configurations happened to be the invisible glue holding together 15 years of accumulated technical debt wasn't my problem anymore. At exactly 3:47 p.m., I logged out of my workstation for the last time, left my keycard on the desk, and walked out of Apex Manufacturing Solutions. I got in my 2019 F-150, started the engine, and drove home to wait for the show to begin. My house was quiet when I got there at 4:10 p.m. The good kind of quiet where you don't feel obligated to fill the silence with noise or activity. I walked straight to the kitchen, opened the cabinet above the fridge where I kept the bourbon I'd been saving for a special occasion, and poured myself 3 fingers of Maker's Mark. Getting fired on a Tuesday in March apparently qualified as special. I sat on my back porch, put my feet up on the railing, and checked my phone. A text from Rose asking if I'd be home for dinner this weekend when she visited from Columbus. A missed call from Angela Rivera. She probably already sensed something was wrong. That girl was sharp, sharper than anyone gave her credit for. At 4:45 p.m., my phone started buzzing. First call, Angela. "Walt, hey, sorry to bother you, but I'm getting weird errors on the vendor sync dashboard. Authentication failure messages. The system was fine this morning. I let it go to voicemail. Second call, help desk. Third call, help desk again. Fourth, Susan from HR, probably realizing she hadn't collected my building access card. I turned my phone face down on the patio table and went to the garage to work on my 1973 Harley Sportster restoration project. Nothing clears your head like rebuilding an engine when the corporate world is imploding behind you. See, I knew exactly what was happening at Apex. Without my active credentials, the automated vendor EDI connections would start timing out within hours. The compliance reporting scripts I'd been manually triggering every Friday afternoon would fail their next scheduled run. Most critically, the payroll integration between our HR system and Citizens Bank would hit a dead end at midnight when it tried to process Thursday's direct deposits. That integration was my masterpiece of duct tape engineering. Back in 2020, when Apex switched banking partners, the new bank's API was completely incompatible with our HR software. The vendor quoted $95,000 and 8 months to build proper integration. I solved it in a weekend with custom middleware that ran from my personal credentials because it was faster than waiting for corporate IT to set up a service account. Everything would keep running just long enough for people to think the transition was smooth, then cascade into complete failure when the next batch job tried to execute. By 6:30 p.m., my missed calls counter had hit 23. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I opened a beer and called my son Danny at Ohio State. "Hey, Dad, you're home early. Everything okay?" "Yeah, everything's fine. Just had a career change today." "What kind of career change?" "The involuntary kind." "Your old man got fired for being too old and not digitally intuitive enough." Danny was quiet for a moment. He'd grown up watching me work nights and weekends, fielding emergency calls during family dinners, rushing back to the office during vacations. He understood better than most people what my job actually entailed. "Their loss," he finally said. "You want me to drive down this weekend? We can work on the Harley, and you can tell me what really happened." "That sounds perfect. Bring your appetite. I'll fire up the grill." Around 7:30 p.m., I heard a car door slam in my driveway. Through the garage window, I saw Angela Rivera walking up my front path. She looked stressed, carrying her laptop bag and wearing the expression of someone who'd just discovered the building was on fire and she was the only one with a key to the fire department. "Walt," she called out, "I know you're in there. Your truck's in the driveway." I wiped my hands on a shop rag and met her at the front door. "Angela, I figured you'd be the first one to put the pieces together." "What happened?" "Cameron called an all-hands meeting at 5 p.m. and said you decided to pursue other opportunities. Then, half our systems started throwing error codes nobody understands. Cameron decided I was too old for the digital transformation," I said, so I cleaned out my desk and left. Her face went pale. "Walt, the vendor sync is completely down. Compliance reports aren't generating. The payroll system is showing warning messages I've never seen before. And Cameron keeps asking me to just fix it like I'm some kind of magician." "What did you tell him?" "That these systems are way more complex than he realizes and you're the only one who really understands how they all connect together." He didn't seem to believe me. I gestured for her to come in. We sat at my kitchen table and I opened my laptop to show her the network monitoring dashboard I kept on my personal systems. Red alerts everywhere, server timeouts, database connection failures. Integration errors cascading through every major process. "This is what happens when you fire the person who's been keeping everything running," I said. "I didn't sabotage anything, Angela. I just stopped holding it together." She stared at the screen, watching error counts tick higher in real time. "How long before everything crashes completely?" "Payroll system will fail at midnight when it tries to process Thursday's direct deposits. After that, it's going to be a very interesting morning at Apex Manufacturing. Can you fix it?" I looked at this young woman who'd been eager to learn, who'd asked good questions and taken detailed notes, who'd actually cared about understanding the work instead of just getting through her daily tasks. "I could," I said, "but I don't work for Apex anymore." She nodded slowly, understanding the situation perfectly. "What should I do?" "Document everything that's failing, screenshots of every error message. Keep detailed notes about when each system goes down. Tomorrow morning, Cameron's going to be in full panic mode, and someone's going to need to explain to the board exactly what happened." Angela left around 8:30 p.m. with printed copies of my system architecture notes and a clear understanding of just how deep the hole was about to get. At 11:58 p.m., exactly as predicted, the payroll system crashed when it tried to connect to Citizens Bank's API using my deactivated credentials. 650 employees wouldn't receive their Thursday direct deposits. By Friday morning, my phone showed 61 missed calls. Around 10 a.m., an expensive sedan pulled into my driveway. Richard Coleman, corporate counsel for Apex, got out with that urgent expression corporate lawyers get when their clients are hemorrhaging money by the hour. "Mr. Summers, we're experiencing significant technical difficulties that require your expertise." Emergency infrastructure recovery starts at $350 per hour, I told him. Minimum engagement 20 hours paid in advance, and I work remotely. 25 minutes later, my business account pinged with a $7,000 wire transfer. 6 months of consulting later, I'd rebuilt what Cameron destroyed, trained Angela properly, and established myself as an independent specialist. These days, I work with clients who value experience over buzzwords. The money's better, the hours are mine, and my blood pressure's back to normal. Sometimes I drive past the Apex building. Everything appears normal, but I know what's different now. They understand the real cost of throwing away experience for corporate vision. The real victory wasn't the consulting money or watching Cameron get reassigned to special projects. It was finally getting the respect I'd earned, even if it took losing me for them to figure it out. In the corporate world, they'll call you obsolete until the moment they realize you were the only thing standing between success and catastrophe. And by then, you're already charging them premium rates to fix what they broke.